Hello everyone. It's a great to be with you. Really. So today I want to share my story. It's more or less a 10-year story. Sorry. It's our path for digitalization, how we worked, and what we learned along the way. And I think now in our group we found a way that we believe that really works for support our digital transformation. Okay, so let's get started. So my speech, my talk will be in three main parts. So I just want to introduce the Regnaud group. I worked at Cartier, but it's the Regnaud group, and a bit about Switzerland, where I come from. And after, I will explain our 10 years journey, broken down more or less in 4 steps. I will resume 4 steps in our journey. And the last part will be more or less what I learned and what I really want to share with you. Okay, so go on, begin by introduce my company. So we have a motto in Regnaud, that is we crafting the future. We are very proud of what we call our maison. It's a brand, okay, for their artistry, innovation, and unique style. So we have jewelry maison as Cartier, Van Cleef, for example, or what we call watch specialists, with maison like Jaeger LeCoultre, Panerai, IIoT. And we act also in the fashion and accessories and online distribution. So we see ourselves as a big family where we honor the tradition of all this masterpiece, but while pushing the future. It's why we craft the future. And if you are curious, there is a lot of website for all this famous brand. Just about manufacturing, we have around 40 production sites, okay, mainly in Switzerland and nearby countries in Europe. So speaking of Switzerland, let's dive into the next. So yes, Switzerland is about this. We are proud of our mountain, our watchmaking industry, okay, and chocolate. Okay. Sorry. And yes, the chocolate is good RVC, really. Okay. But there is, thank you very much. Thank you. But there is something else deeply rooted in the culture of this country, in the politics, in the governance, in the enterprise. And really the Switzerland value compromise. Okay? It's in our DNA. Okay? We believe in talking things out, on finding middle ground. Okay? It's really a spirit. And I try to capture this spirit in few lines in an official speech that you can find in the website of the Swiss Confederation. I just want to highlight these 3 sentences. So, the principle to delegate upward only what cannot be solved downward. Okay? Enable our state to remain lean and flexible. This bottom-up political system produces another benefit. Okay? It's guaranteed participation, the citizen participation. And the last, a compromise is not a bad decision. Okay? Sometimes we think it's a bad decision, but a compromise is the result of a fruitless dialogue in which opinion clash to find the best solution. You will see this culture in all enterprises in Switzerland. And with this mindset, probably without us realizing it, years after years, dialogue after dialogue, we find our consensus for the right approach to support our digital transformation. So let's take back and look at the last more or less 10 years. So we will dive to 4 big stages in our path to composability in our architecture. So I want to analyze these 4 stages, okay, using 3 viewpoints. Okay? How this project affects the people, our frontline workers, the user experience. How this project change our architecture, I will say our manufacturing stack in terms of pattern, infrastructure, the way to make integration. And finally, the way business and tech team works all together, the collaboration dynamics. Okay? In a strong corporate IT context in Richmond, we have a global and really a corporate IT system. So let's dive and start our first step back in 2030. So the story kick off here, okay? And it was our first big MES or MOM manufacturing operation project. We wanted to fully digitalize one of our main production line, called the God line. And we put everything in this line, new lean management flow of product, everything. This project was a big deal and worked very well, but we don't use this solution for other factories. We failed to scale. But for this project, what started to happen on the shop floor? So for our worker, we start to have like shared screen in different spots of the production line. Okay. It was very new because everything was created before. In this screen, you have just one unique solution, one NES solution that tries to do everything. Okay. The good receipt to the production defect, stuff like that. We wanted to be fully paperless. It was no paper, I would say label-less, because sometimes you have label, we have no paper, but it was fully paperless. And we started to work with designers to put a strong focus on the UX. Okay. It was our first project. And more or less, this UX was front-end for ERP. We wanted to simplify the job for the worker, especially for gold or precious management tracking. Okay. So it was the first step here. In terms of architecture, our history is rollout of SAP. Okay. So thinking the point-to-point integration between our MES and ERP, it's like ISO 95 pyramid style, which was a big monolithic system. It was a prison in the past. We start to connect more devices in PC way. And one thing was very important during this project. We spent a lot of time to replicate the system of record, to be sure that our MES or MOM have the same data of our ERP. And it was a big part of the job without real value for the business. And in terms of collaboration, it was really based on a contract between the business, our IT team, and the partner. So in this case, it was really a waterfall project. So in many MES projects, the project took longer and cost more than what we thought. Okay. And another difficulty, we're really thinking that we put the foundation for the next plant, but we don't have a lot of experience, and we're really thinking that all the plants have the same problem. All the plants want to be super lean, super digital, but it was not the case. Each plant has different maturity, experience, problem to solve, and the cost to adapt the solution was too high. So this solution continued to run, but only in this plant, and we failed to deploy because it was too complex to deploy. So it's our first step. So but during this project, we see the value to digitalize the operation, to more digitalize the operation, to give a screen to the user. But we needed to deploy all the maison in the group, and we have a real solution to propose. So we tried a new approach. Each maison, it was 2 maisons. So you can choose the MES you want. Okay? So choose the MES you want. So the maison chose different MES. And in the corporate IT, we say, okay, we need to connect this local MES, so we say local MES, in our global instance in SAP. Okay? So what started to change in this project and journey? We see more and more individual screen for the watchmaker, for example. Okay, so we start to have one screen for each workbench in this project. Now the screen is not one application, but like a kiosk of solution. You can jump for a yes solution, but sometimes quality system. So you can start to jump between different solutions for different providers. An interesting thing, we returned to a partial paperless. The way to be fully paperless was too complex for a lot of process. So we find a better mix between paper, label, and digital, because a lot of plants was not ready to be fully paperless. In terms of application, we see application that start to guide more the operator. and not only fulfill data in the system, but try to follow the end of the gesture of our operator. And the last thing, in the past we follow like production order from ERP, but it's not a physical thing, it's just an administrative thing. And we start to follow more the container, the serial number, so we see that the app makes the link between the physical world, but really used by the frontline worker, and not some stuff in the ERP or MES system. For architecture, in our architecture of TechWise, we bridging this MES with REST API. Okay? We decide to stop to make point-to-point integration, and we built our custom API. It was for web services, but we start this mindset that we create API without knowing the consumer of this. Okay? So we break down our MOM in different domains, so one MES pipelines, but we break down the WMS system. We decide to use a separate WMS system. So we see that we start to break down this MOM layer. Everything was more or less compromised. And one of the brands decided to develop a web page, okay, what we call light MES. And they say, I don't want to replicate my system of record. I just want to call the data with API and extend the data model. So we see the value for the operator and how it was easy when you stop to duplicate all the data. And for our WMS system, SAP WM, it's a complex, powerful system, but complex for UX. We start to develop our apps, but with the technology in SAP directly. So we just choose one or two applications. For the collaboration, so we have the corporate IT team and the factory team. And the collaboration is around this new API, like API as a contract. We need to understand the API contract. It was a main collaboration. It was two different tech teams, but one direction. Okay, so it was really interesting. But we keep waterfall project, parallel project in this case. So when we move after, so we don't provide at the corporate level the right solution because each maison can choose this MES. We need to find something and to really bring a fresh perspective. So what if we did not need a full MES system, but just a feature, a function of MES? Think it like an iPhone where each apps can be a function of MES and you just download it. Okay? And I was very inspired by a guy called Andrew Hooks that wrote an article called The 7 Life of MES. And he explained that the future of MES in apps, in the IoT platform. And you say, okay, maybe it's our way. So we shift our focus from deploying a solution and develop individual apps with Tulip. So what will change for people? We see now that we need both. Individual screen for watchmaker, for example, but shared screen makes sense for CNC machine, for example. So we start to have this cybersecurity, not problem, but we take care of cybersecurity because it's not so easy to manage individual screen with individual logging and shared station, but we see it will be the future to have this two configuration. We see more and more kiosks with an app icon, title. You can start to move from an app to another, solution to another. So we extend this experience. And more, because with Tulip, we can iterate with the frontline worker. We see more and more the apps that really follow the gesture. Because we have more time, we have more iteration, we can adapt the application to the frontline worker. And we start to connect like screwdriver, or equipment. And this equipment is now in the user experience. And we move to UI, to UX, by integrating all these connected or smart devices. In terms of architecture, we continue our API journey. Now API is not web service, it's open API with real specification, and we use the API gateway pattern in order to streamline the connection between our system of record and digital platform as Tulip. We start to see that cloud is really an option for operation with Tulip, in terms of response time, security, stuff like that. So now we know that cloud is a really an option. We see what we call mashup application. In the first project, an application just used the data from one system. But now this app thanks to the gateway, use more and more data from ERP, from PLM, and we try to have what we call machine apps. From the corporate IT, more and more, we think that it's more an hybrid or headless architecture. Okay? Focus on back-end function, on process, and let the business build the UX because they do a better job and there are more people to do it. Okay? And in terms of OT, we deploy a lot of edge gateway. We start with Tulip, with Node-RED, and we see it's new. We deal now with a lot of events. Before we dealing with transaction in SAP, but now we see all this event from OT equipment, and now this event is part of the UX. You can build a better UX if you integrate this event in your architecture. In terms of collaboration, we continue to have a collaboration around this big REST API catalog. Citizen developer or app developer start to be a common word in Richmond. We understand the role of these people. We continue to make waterfall project when we deploy SAP, but now we have really an agile delivery with Tulip, so we start to mix these two modes of waterfall and agile with a globalization. But one issue here, the Tulip platform was hosted by the operational team at Cartier, and we see some difficulty to scale, to manage real IT domain. So now we reach the final stage of our journey, to make it simple. So I will start from collaboration. So we decide for the corporate IT to manage the Tulip platform. You have to manage the Tulip platform for the critical, for the technical detail, for the upgrade, provide a better support. And we set up also a new governance with the corporate IT, with what we call workspace owner in each plant that's manage Tulip locally in the workspace. And we start to build a community of app builder with all the brands in the group. So IT is not only IT capability, but have the responsibility to build or animate this community of people. Training course start to be a feature that we deliver. Okay. Before IT deliver only IT feature. Now training course is a feature because it's important for user. And the corporate IT start to build like a common application to help people to accelerate the first application. Okay, so just take it, trick it, but it's a way to accelerate your journey in Tulip. In terms of architecture, so now API is more or less okay, but we understand that the future is real time and we need an event, an asynchronous architecture. So we start to implement more and more events from the vehicle to know what's happened in real time in our system. Now we think more headless, and clearly the UX assembly is done by the business. Okay, so headless is really IT understand what is headless, and we have a chance that we work with a lot of retail team, and in a retail experience or commerce, they know exactly what is the headless system. For sure, we use Tulip Workspace that help us to set up a good governance, like freedom in a box for all our plans. And in terms of OT, we accelerate with a full MQTT architecture. We use the UNS pattern and the best practices of data ops to clean the data, to structure the data, and to be sure this OT data can be used by everybody. And for the people, the issue now is what we call easy login. How you can connect securely to the system, and we look for a good solution without password, because now we saw this issue to log here. Now we have more that menu, and now with all this integration, we think like we can build some application like a single pane of glass for user to avoid to switch from solution to another solution. And we use the technique of the product management, but what is the user journey of a frontline? It's not the process of declare production, declare non-conformity, but what's your journey as a frontline worker? What's your user story? What you do for e-commerce, stuff like that? And how we can build a suite of applications that help you in your frontline journey. And the more we connect data, the more our frontline worker can use this data to make a better job. So we move to connecting people to more augmented people. So, looking back 10 years ago, we could only handle one project at a time, because we rely on the centrality. But we are, with our new platform way of doing, we have moved to digital, we accelerate our digital transformation. And to make it simple, now every month we set up 40 new screens in a plant in Regnaud, and we bring on board around 50 more workers each month. It's a big change from where we start with 10 years now. Put it differently, we deploy 3 times as many screens and users in 1 month today that in an over 18-month project where we're using a monolithic MES approach. And it's real figure, actually. Really, I have this change to live all this step. Okay, we're very engaged to all this step. And I just want for you to sum up my biggest lesson in these 3 main points, especially because the first step was a failure, okay? And you learn a lot with a failure. So, just like in Switzerland, you have to make a compromise in your architecture. Okay? So, your architecture is a suite of solutions. You have to take manufacturing ecosystem and include some solution that is here in Boston. It's really important to craft your manufacturing stack really carefully and make this culture of compromise. Okay, set a good compromise. You need to balance strong data foundation or system record integration capability with innovation solution to tailor for your operation. So find this compromise of your solution. I don't want to go too much in detail, but let me just explain a bit the diagram here. Here you have the enterprise application. There is an issue, you can't access this data because people think it's a single source of truth. Okay? But this has to change. Okay? It should be the single source of change. Okay? And you have near source of this data. Okay? So it's very important to change this mind and expose this system with API, with events, for other solutions, okay, here with an event-driven architecture, but also for your frontline experience. It's more or less the same thing for manufacturing application, like WMS, CMMS, but you need to take the same attention as your enterprise application. Expose API event in a strong and a robust manner, because a lot of this data is so important for the contextualization of your industrial data or OT data. So you need also to open more this kind of solution if you have one. For Regnaud, the right part, it's a big change now in our infrastructure. I call it industrial data in motion. Okay? So OT data is data in motion, in event. So you need also to have an infrastructure that collects this data and make this data available with contextualization and normalization in order to create real-time experience. Okay? But all this data should be also stored, it's called data at rest. Because if you want to leverage analytic visualization, AI, you need to store also this data. So if you have all these 4 pillars, enterprise application, manufacturing operation, data at rest, and data in motion, you can let the business solve a lot of issues by building all this application. And in this case, Tulip is more or less the glue for the frontline worker to use all this data. And I think it's more or less the same here. Tulip is more or less the glue to all this ecosystem of partners to link all together for the frontline worker. My second compromise lies in your organization. Okay? We all know this pendulum swing between centralization and decentralization, and again, especially in big corporate group. In digital transformation, there should be no winner or no loser in your organization between the central and the local forces. Okay? So it's really about striking the right balance for your frontline worker. So what's really the change is with Tulip tool or low code or no code like Journey, you can democratize more and more technology. And you can fuse your business and IT team to work more together. And I like this sentence that the role of IT, it's to make simple things, okay? To let people work more closely with frontline workers with simple tools. Okay? And the role of IT, okay, it's to take care of complex things, engineering things, but we can do it locally. So by fusing your organization, you will leverage also the potential of a frontline platform. But so I compromise. There is two compromise. Okay? But there is one thing that we never compromise. Okay? I live in Switzerland, but I'm a French guy, so sometimes I don't like compromise. Okay, and sometimes I refuse to change. So the thing you should not compromise. It's in the early of the first project, I received a great advice from our industrial director. He told me something like that: don't build a solution for logistic people, for supply chain guy, for quality guy, for finance guy, and not for production manager guy. You have to build a solution for operator, okay? For those who are on the front line. Okay? So this advice has been a guiding light for me, honestly. And for me, it underscores the importance of placing the operator at the end with decision. Okay? After all this frontline is our backbone of our industry. And I just use a quote for you, Walker. It's, operators are the smarter people we are now manufacturing. Okay? So my last advice will not to make no compromise when it's come to doing things for the shop floor. Great. And I think that's it for me. Thank you for listening to me and perhaps to understand this. It was a pleasure to share with you, and I look forward to engage and exchange with you today. Thank you very much.